For this first module, I'm going to talk you through the principles of drawing in one-point perspective. I'll also let you know that I'm actually demoing. I've been working with these books for quite a while now. This is the mixed media book, sketchbook, really nice cover. It's got really thick paper, 250 grams. It's almost like a thin card, really smooth, great for drawing, great for fine liners, pencils. I've also been working, that's the Rhodia Touch mechanical pencil. So I've been working with these as well. This is my area that I really love. So I hope you enjoy my first session. For example, then, if I show you this, a sketch of the main street in Lisbon, it's a very clear one-point perspective view. So I've established my view. I tend to work out on the page. Once I've done that, I can start to add in, well, I like signs and I like street furniture. I like litter bins and posters. I've got chairs, I've got umbrellas. I add people. I don't feel that I'm particularly good at drawing people or cars, but when I layer up the image, hopefully it's like a cacophony of stuff going on. You know, that's why it's called urban sketching, because, you know, here we are in the middle of one of a really busy street in the middle of Lisbon. The clutter and all the foreground stuff wouldn't work as well if we didn't have that sort of architectural view that's underpinning what I've drawn. This is how I default to drawing when I'm sitting on a street somewhere. This is in Kuala Lumpur. There's a very clear one-point perspective. So we've got cars, we've got people, we've got signage parallel to us, and I've even tried to draw a little bit of signage in perspective as it goes backwards. And again, I'm sure you all know this stuff, but when we're drawing in one-point perspective, we're looking straight ahead of us. We're working out where our eyes are, and we call that our eye level. And then straight ahead of us, if we've got buildings, we have planes, the bits that aren't parallel to us, those planes are receding towards our vanishing point. Here's another little sketch. This is in Manchester. So we've got flat planes. We've got all our buildings that are going down that road are receding to a point. Sometimes I add watercolour, but I actually just like drawing the view a lot of the time. So I do really enjoy complicated perspective drawing. This is also in Lisbon, looking down a street. This is interesting because my eye level is higher because I'm looking straight out. The road is sloping steeply. That's the same road, just from a slightly different viewpoint. But again, that's probably my trademark. I really enjoy that complicating of the view, but it only works if you've got the principles right. So for this demo, I'm using this multimedia sketchbook from Rhodia Touch, and it's got really lovely smooth paper. Haven't put any colour on it yet. It almost feels like card. It's really white and has a really nice sort of smooth drawing finish. And it's saying that these books for calligraphers, urban sketchers, designers, architects, watercolourists and illustrators. So this is a book for everybody. It's a screenshot from Lisbon tourist board on the same road, but I've gone in a bit closer just so I can talk through the principles a little bit more. So if I just have the other drawing open so we can see it. It was further back, so we're actually somewhere much closer to the arch. So the first thing is to establish our eye level. It's where do all the buildings. The great thing about this view or this particular street is that the buildings are very uniform. So the top of the windows it's all going down to an eye level of the photographer and the vanishing point. And as you can see from the vanishing point here, because I've already sort of done the exercise, the vanishing point, it's slightly to the right of centre in terms of the width of the street. So if I start by drawing a line, which I'm going to call, I just always mark it on, eye level, and then I'll strike the vanishing point. The next thing to say, your eye level and vanishing point is unique to you. It depends how tall you are. Depends if you're standing up or sitting down, or you're at the first floor, or, you know, it moves with you, but you're always looking straight ahead. More than one of my students has said to me before, they've got the eye level established, and then they say, oh, I thought I put my vanishing point here. That is non-negotiable. Your vanishing point is straight ahead of you when you're looking at that view. And what you want to make sure you're seeing horizontal planes, and then the sides of your buildings or spaces, if it's an interior view, are receding down to that critical vanishing point. This is what I'm doing when I'm thinking, subliminally, when I'm sitting there, or correction, intuitively, I would say. When I'm looking at the view, I'm making all these little mental decisions. And so for me, where I've outlined in red, that enclosure, and if I can get the heights correct or approximately correct proportionally, then I know it sets out the drawing for me. There are two ways of doing this. You could actually set the drawing out from back here and work in. But as you can see from this drawing, I usually set out and then I sort of bring my lines out. So they sort of come out from the vanishing point rather than receding back to it. I mean, that's just saying that's another sketch. That's a Manchester sketch. Lots of complicated things going on there, but you can see very clearly where my vanishing point is. It's just looking out for it. It just becomes part of your practice. But going back to this view, I know my ground line is going to be below my eye level line. So, if I draw that sort of maybe around here, and I can see that, as I said, it's off center. It looks like 40, 60. So if we, maybe it's about there, and there, and then I can start to project my lines up. So that feels, hopefully you can see that, similar. It's like this well, or it's a U shape. It's just determining the space between the buildings, because if that's too big or too wide, it's going to change the view. But the next thing that I would want to do is work out how many stories, and I can't, this looks, I think there might have been some sort of graphic display over building work on that elevation. So I'm going to actually work it out on this side. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, we've got 4 stories, and then we've got a sort of balcony height. So what I would do with my pen or my pencil is again work out the height of that in relation to my vanishing point. So if I then start to think about the height of those, so I just literally, that's me counting stories approximately. So if I do that and strike a line going up there, you can see it. If I hold my pencil and I do the same on the drawing, which I would do sort of half squinting, looking at the view, that doesn't look far off to me. So then we've got our different floors. Maybe I've not drawn that quite right. The height feels right. I just need to go in and work out those actual story heights. And then what I need to do, so on the other side, the building is a bit lower. It's a bit lower on that side, so maybe about there. And then we've got the flat planes, so getting those in are really important. And then we've got this building next to it. It's got some sort of, quite grand cornicing. And then this building has a higher bit that's set back, maybe something like that. I'm drawing this in pencil, so I'm using the Rhodia mechanical pencil with, I think it's 0.5 lead, but it's a really good grip. Again, it works really nicely on the paper. We've got the side of this building, and really we can just carry on. But, it's giving us that really sort of strong feeling of a one-point perspective. Again, I think that it was the same when I did this drawing. The key focus of the drawing is the arch. I need to get that feeling right first, and then I would just do this from eye. I'm drawing this quickly from a photograph. It's not quite the same as being there, I assure you. So something like that, and then we've got the arch. Then we can see, so this is in flat elevation, so it's sort of disappearing. Something like that. Something going on up there that I'm sure is parallel, and there's people up there. There is actually a little bit of perspective because, that's actually got a side. You can see the underside of the roof. So you can see, again, whether the proportion is 100%. But again, the great thing is it's slightly different from sketching from a photograph, but when you're there, that view, that sketch is unique to you. Nobody's going to be sitting in the same place as you doing that sketch, or highly unlikely. And it's not a finished masterpiece. It's a sketch. It's a reflection of time and place. I think actually being in the moment and sketching is really good for mental health. It really focuses you. Every time I look, every sketch I've done, I usually know how I was feeling and, your emotional response to a place. That's why I'm so passionate about it. And that's why I think it's such a wonderful thing to do, to be drawing. It's not the same, I assure you, drawing from photographs. That's why it was so difficult in lockdown time. So then you can start to fill in all your story. Obviously it'll take me quite a long time. You can start to map out all the different things going on. I've got, we've got the umbrellas. If we could see the tables, they would be sloping up to the vanishing point. We've got the statue behind, and then we've got lots and lots of people. So the thing about the people, and again, rather than drawing over a photograph, but being there. So the thing that I always like is that the people, so if I draw people, now this would be assuming you're standing up, but they're always going to be approximately on the eye level line. So even if we've got another pen, so people coming nearer are getting bigger, but they heads, and then somebody right in the distance. You can actually build up a feeling of a place. We've got somebody over here. So that's sort of building up a sense of place. You can start, and again, as I did in my other sketch, by putting in signage and, it's things like the lampposts. All those things build up the image. So that is a very quick demo. So again, if we had floor, we could start to show shop windows. It's all sort of filling in the view. And I think that proportionally, it's not far off. But that's how I approach a one-point perspective. Find my point and I work out from the point. And then when I'm confident that everything is properly working out in the correct place is when I can start to add the clutter and all that sort of fun stuff. And then I might decide whether to go in with colour, but I don't always. I think, just to reiterate, it's about communicating a sense of place and it's about enjoying. That's what I want people to get from these sessions, is how enjoyable it is to be just drawing urban sketching on location.